Thank you for joining me on the Victory Independence channel. I wanted to discuss this credit card increase that we've seen in transactions over the past year. 7% for transactions and 10.7% for actual dollar volume. So this means Americans are swiping their cards more and they're using them for a larger purchase or equivalently more purchases as far as the dollar volume. Now, most Keynesian economists, the conventional wisdom, might actually look at this and go, wow, this is good. The consumers are spending, and they're spending more. But what this report also stated was that the spending is going to food and energy. Again, this is something that, of course, the Fed does not look at in their core inflation rate. So I think it's interesting that, here you have a situation where there's still people talking about a recovery. But you actually have the whole thing where you're in a situation where they have to they pump the economy with so much money and so much borrowing, all this money, in order just to pretend like we have an economy. But even that, despite all that, all this stuff that is kicking the can, it's still really grinding to a halt. And that kind of lets you know just how epic this thing is going to be. This is going to be a monstrous implosion of the U.S. system, the fiat system, the dollar being the world reserve currency status. This is going to be something in history, something that you and I will never forget. And what I really wanted to take time today was to kind of poke some of you who have the same research, come to the same conclusion. You believe everything that's going to happen that I've talked about, but you may not have acted on it. And I just want to make this video as quick as possible. So if you haven't done something, or if you're sitting on a bunch of bags of rice that haven't been properly stored, if you haven't purchased water, if you haven't talked to your family, I know a lot of people are closed to hearing about it, but if there are people who are open to listening to you, if you haven't coordinated something, where, hey, look, if things get out of control, are we going to meet somewhere? If you haven't planted, a garden or some fruit trees or just changed your actual actions. It's one thing to say, hey, people need to buy gold or become debt free. It's another thing to actually really, really make it a lifestyle where you say no to debt. When it comes to gold and silver, I've had a huge evolution of my thinking towards gold and silver. In the beginning, like all Westerners, I looked at it and said, okay, this is a speculative commodity, but it's a hedge against inflation. It's a store of value. But at the same point in time, I looked at gold and silver as going up and down, and I was going to make a profit. And I still do, in the sense that I think they're so undervalued as far as their real value, because they've been suppressed because everybody's been satisfied with all the fiat currency that I believe that is coming to an end where we will be fiat only. And now when I look at gold and silver, it's really, I look at it as a safe place to be, and somewhere where you want to store your wealth. I don't look at them as so much as investments. In fact, I could honestly tell you that I probably will never sell most of my gold and silver. And if I did sell it, it would be because I'd be converting it into a home, a rental, a business. I'd be converting it into something else. But, I guess, the Chinese, the Indians, other places in the world, they get gold and silver. And in fact, the world got gold and silver prior to the world not having any ties to gold. But of course, me being born when that had already happened, my entire adult life, I have never known what it's like to actually have sound money. So I hope that one day we do have sound money, but until we have sound money, I look at gold and silver as kind of opting out of the system. I don't want to be part of, this, oh, I'm going to open up my savings account and have a, 0.00001% interest rate. I don't care about it. I don't care about the fiat currencies. They mean nothing to me. I care about true wealth and true quality of life. And quality of life, in my opinion, starts at being debt-free. Wealth, the accumulation of not only real assets, but of freeing up your time, wealth in your relationships. So anyway, I said I was going to make it short, and I'm always long-winded. But anyway, if you haven't done something please do it today, because I do not think you have that much time. With between the debt ceiling and everything that's going on in Europe, I've often said that we should see some chaos. The whole thing come down on our heads by 2015, but realistically, it could happen within the next 3 months. Anything could pop this thing. It's such a massive bubble. It's like I said, it's going to be epic.